George Aluo joins us. He's a member of the board of the weightlifting board, actually. Thank you for coming on this morning.
It's my pleasure, Chamberlain.
Let's start there, weightlifting, because it was really saddening when we got the news that Amalaha had been stripped of a medal for testing positive. What actually transpired? What can you tell us about that?
Well, I wasn't actually in Glasgow. I agreed I'm a board member of Nigerian Weightlifting Federation, and our sports is supposed to be one of #1 sports when you talk about the Commonwealth Games and the Olympics, that it affects Nigeria, because athletics, weightlifting, wrestling and all that are the major sports where you win medals. So, but let me start from when the campaign actually started. 1 month to the campaign, nothing was happening. 1 month to the competition. It took the board of Nigerian Weightlifting Federation to actually bring our lifters to camp. We brought them to camp in Abuja after our board meeting on the 24th of May, because we felt that nothing was happening at the level of the National Sports Commission. By President Honorable Chubudo Muche decided to take the bull by the horn, and at the end of the day, board members ensured that these athletes came to camp. And they now went to Glasgow and did this country proud. We're happy about that. But the unfortunate thing that happened was the case of Chika Amalaha. But I must tell you here that that girl, on my honor, that girl cannot go out of her way to take drugs. This was a girl that we discovered in Uyo just last year during the National Weightlifting Championship. When this board was inaugurated, we decided that...
last year?
Yeah, just last year in Uyo. We decided that we need to reactivate the national competition so that we can discover athletes. And this girl came from Ebonyi State at 15 and surprised everybody in Uyo during the national championships as a youth athlete. And at the end of the day, we took her to Malaysia during the Commonwealth Weightlifting Championship in Malaysia and Penang. And that was the first time this girl was flying an airplane, I must tell you. That was the first time she was leaving this country. So this is a girl that is very, very naive, a girl that knows next to nothing about drugs. She did well in Penang, won 3 gold medals for this country. And when we came back from Malaysia, the National Sports Commission never deemed it fit to even have a handshake with these athletes. But footballers that win nothing are celebrated in this country. Then this girl went about again to Botswana to go and win for us the African Youth Championship in Botswana. 3 gold medals she won. Then she went to Glasgow and surprised everybody by winning a gold for Nigeria. But unfortunately, she took a tablet that was supposed to keep her in her weight category, 53 kg. And that tablet, I understand, contains some substance performance-enhancing drug by WADA list. So it's an unfortunate situation. This is the preliminary information I have, but we need to now investigate, because the board of Nigerian Weightlifting Federation, we're going to probe what happened. The president is going to set up a committee that will investigate what happened. We'll have to ask the girl what she took in Glasgow, because she was even tested before she went to Glasgow. In Botswana, she came out clean. So what transpired? We need to know. We need to ask the coaches. Emmanuel Oshoma, who is our head coach.
So the coaches are supposed to be the ones to ensure that whatever they take meets the stipulation of WADA.
Exactly, yes. The coaches are supposed to ensure that even if you want to take Panadol, because Panadol, ordinary analgesic, can even contain substance of anabolic steroid. So you need to be sure, and the medical team attached to them. And I must tell you that at the level when they were not taken over by the National Sports Commission, the board was not involved. So we never knew what happened thereafter. So, but all this we need to unravel. We need to ask Chika. But I must tell you that this girl knows next to nothing. So she couldn't have gone out of her way. And she is immensely talented. So for somebody to say that she took that drug because she wants to enhance her performance, I think that is totally out of place.
Because
so like I said,
you know her history. She's won several gold medals before Glasgow.
Just in 1 year. Like I told you, this girl was discovered in Uyo when we went for the national championship, and she came to represent Ebonyi State. So she is just a raw talent, and we must not allow the talent to waste.
But how come the ministry did not, the athletes in this category, in this sport, didn't get any support from the ministry? It's kind of surprising.
Yeah, but we've not been getting support from nowhere. All the support goes to football. It's an unfortunate situation. The other sports, in fact, you can even talk about athletics getting some support from Delta State, because Delta has been in the forefront. Whatever we are winning now in athletics, the kudos, credit, everything must go to Delta State. Look at Brume, Delta, Blessing Okagbari, Delta, all the Aguero, Delta, all the athletes that are performing for us at Delta, and it's because of the massive investment that Delta is putting to athletics. Then in the case of wrestling, who is making it happen? Bayelsa State. Because Daniel Igali is there, and he has been able to attract sponsorship from Bayelsa State, and that is why our wrestlers are doing well. In the case of weightlifting, we are orphans. No state is supporting weightlifting. No corporate body is supporting weightlifting. No government is supporting weightlifting. But our athletes still use their raw talent to get to win medals for us at the All-African Games and at the Commonwealth level. But when it comes to the Olympics, it becomes difficult for them to compete because there's no support. Most of the athletes that we use, why our men are not doing well, is because most of them end up being bouncers in nightclubs. If they have nothing to do, they now go to nightclubs to become bouncers. But the girls are a little bit more disciplined, and that is why we only win medals in weightlifting for, in the female category. The male, they have to survive. What do they end up doing? They need to earn a living. They end up being bouncers in nightclubs. So by the time you invite them to camp, they are spent forces.
But are you optimistic?
So we are not getting, weightlifting as a sport is getting zero support, both from government. Now, after the Commonwealth Games, we are supposed to go for the World Championship in Kazan. We may not even go. This same Chika Amalaha would have been in part of those for the Youth Olympics in China. The Youth Olympics is coming up by September. But we did not go to the African qualifiers in Tunisia. It was when she now did well in Botswana that we started running helter-skelter, asking for white card for this same girl. But the African qualifiers took place in Tunisia, and Nigeria did not participate. We are going for the World Championship in September. We may not get the funds to go there. And the World Championship in Kazan is a qualifier for Rio 2016. So how do you now qualify Nigerian weightlifters if you don't get the scoring points? These are the issues. But I am telling you now because I am a board member, and these are the challenges we are facing. The World Championship is coming up. Nigeria may not even participate. The next thing when you put in money to go to the competition, the language you get from the Sports Commission is no money. But if we are competing in football, the money comes out. These are the issues. The national championship we held in Yo-Yo was single-handedly sponsored by Honorable Chibude Muche. And we have been looking for sponsorship for our national championship this year. We've not been able to get a state that wants to host us.
What about the corporate bodies?
The corporate bodies are equally interested. The few corporate bodies that are interested in sports, how many of them? The corporate bodies are all interested in sponsoring football. So that is the challenge. So we don't even have a venue for a national championship in weightlifting. And at the end of the day, these are the people that gives us medal in multi-sport events like the Commonwealth Games and the All-African Games.
So the state governments are not responding? They're the ones you reached out to?
But Lagos state government has shown interest in hosting a national championship in October. So we hope that works out. But the corporate bodies are not backing weightlifting. And in sports, you don't win medals by accident of history. You win by thorough planning. You win by the support you get from corporate bodies, from government, and from individuals. In fact, weightlifting was a dead sport until this board came on board. And it is because we have a passionate president in Honorable Muche, but there's a limit of what an individual can do. The former minister convinced him, Abdullahi, to come into weightlifting and give it some level of support. But we've been going to corporate bodies requesting for support, and we're not getting any. We're not getting from state government. So these are the challenges. And weightlifting is a sport that Nigeria can really do very well in. You saw Miriam Usman. In London 2012, she missed getting at least a bronze medal. But in Glasgow, she has just won out a gold. And if we consistently support Miriam Usman, why she's even doing well is because she has a job with civil defense. So if we support Miriam Usman, in the next 2 years, she will give us at least a medal in Rio, in Brazil, 2016. So these athletes need support. These are the issues. Wow.
But are you optimistic then that, I mean, since you heard the minister say that, yes, I think they'll host all of the official, I beg your pardon, the athletes. I hope it's not only those who won medals, but they should be able to host all the athletes.
They should host the athletes.
And this should possibly translate to the federations.
I just hope that the new minister, Honorable Tamuno Danagogo, and the DG, National Sports Commission, Honorable Benga would give some level of pay more attention, not just to weightlifting alone, but to other sports. It is not only football that gives us medal. When we wanted, for Glasgow, I must tell you, we needed less than 5 million naira to come to camp. The Federation didn't have it until we taxed ourselves to get 5 million to bring our athletes to camp. But we see a situation where footballers who don't even win matches are paid $5,000 for losing a game. And if it comes to football, the money comes out. But if it comes to other sports, there's no money. These are the issues. So I will crave the indulgence of the sports minister to ensure that other sports get support. And again, the National Sports Commission must find a way to access funds from the National Lottery Fund. As a sports journalist that knows what happens in the international scene out there, government in UK, they don't wait for government for budget to be passed and all that to get money. The National Lottery Fund in UK funds most of the sports in UK. So why, and the national sport, here in Nigeria, the lottery fund is supposed to be for public good. What other public good can you talk about if you don't talk about sports? Money from the National Sports Lottery Fund, the National Sports Commission should find a way to access it. They should convince government so that we draw from the lottery fund. There's so much money lying fallow in the National Sports Lottery Fund that government can release some to sports. And if we release some of this money to sports, we will not always wait for budget to be passed before you get funding for sports.
Wow. All right, we have to let it go there, unfortunately. But I guess maybe next time out, we can look at football, even though all the money goes there. But how many gold medals have we won? How many World Cups have
and
we
you
won?
look at the challenge that is going on in the name of NFF election. People are talking about, you talk of an election, that election is taking place on the 26th. You say people should buy form from Monday to between Thursday and Monday, and the forms are not even available. So what manner of election are we talking about? There's so much secrecy. There's so much, there's nothing transparent about our sports. And I think the minister, if he intervenes now, they'll say government interference. But he needs to intervene in some of these things, because if the minister does not intervene, we will not get it right.
All right, we'll be back after this. Join us again.